Hi, I'm going to show you how to connect your scrapers to Zapier via a webhook. Now, first up, we need to create our bot, and we're going to follow this design pattern. We're going to replicate it in the builder. And I'm going to start by opening up Axiom, clicking New Automation, and then adding my first step. Then, to replicate the design pattern we see on screen, I need to add 2 steps. Get data from a URL. I'm going to collapse that step and trigger webhook. Now you can see if I collapse those steps, it matches up with that design pattern. So next we configure those steps. That's pretty simple, but I'm going to need to select some data. So I'm going to hop over here quickly. I'll just open up Axiom again. And I'm going to change the URL in the field there. Then I'm going to select the data I wish to scrape. I'm going to just get some names, then some links. That's done. So I've got the first initial step set up. And in this guide, I'm just showing you how it's done. You can, of course, build out your automation by adding additional steps or doing something completely different. But this is the basis of how to trigger a zap and send some data to it. Now, next we need to set up the trigger webhook step. You'll see we've got an endpoint field in there and a payload field. Now, to get the endpoint, I'm going to need to go into Zapier. So let's begin setting up our zap that we're going to trigger. So I'm going to open up Zapier, and here we click Create and Zap. Now, I'm going to ignore the Copilot and just set this up myself. First of all, we need to set up a trigger. That's simple enough. What we need to do is look for the Webhooks by Zapier, and they have it listed there, so I'm just going to click and add. Next, inside that, I need to choose an event, and the event we're going to do is catch raw hook. We press continue. Now Zapier is set up and listening for the webhook. What we need to do is take our webhook endpoint and now put that into Axiom. So I'm going to go back to Axiom and in that step add the endpoint. Now I should insert the payload data. That's the bot set up. You can, of course, add your own JSON and make a more custom payload, but for the purpose of this demo, I'm just inserting the data. It will be sent to Zapier in a 2D array, which I can then manipulate in Zapier itself. So Zapier is listening, and I need to send some test data to test the trigger to make sure it's received. So I'm going to click Run. Axiom should open up the desktop runner. Now I'm just going to click back into Axiom. That run should complete soon and the data should be sent off via the webhook to Zapier. It's been sent. I can go and see the run status, but no error has been shown, so that I know that's been successful. Now, time to go back into Zapier, and I'm going to test the trigger. Click Test. You can see it's found the record, and I'm going to continue with selected record. And we're going to add format served by Zapier because we want to extract the data. So let me just go back into that 1 second. Test. We can view that the data's been pulled in and it's in the raw body. So that's pretty cool. That worked. Now let's go back to the formatter. We're going to choose an event. And so we pass text in. So we're going to choose text. What we want to do is break that text out of the lump, for want of a better technical term, and split it up into variables we can use. Now to do that, we can just use the split text option found in Zapier. Split text. I click on there. Now, what we need to do is select the input. I click on plus, and as I showed you quickly in the preview, we can see the data we want in the raw body. So we're going to do that. Now, I'm just going to circle, hopefully you can see on screen, we need basically a separator to extract that text. Zapier has a field to add that separator, and now that it's got the data, now I just need to click test. It will split the data, and you can see what fields it becomes available, and they're labeled as output. I can then use those as I build out my Zap. That's the end of the guide. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for trying Axiom.